Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here and taking the time out of your day. Today, we're going to be talking about my webinar called If I Only Had $100 a Month. So I'll dive into what that means and how we're going to explain how we're going to get more out of this as we go along. There we go. So we'll share who am I? I'll talk about why I'm sharing this. We'll talk about what you can get for $100, how to get started, what I would do with the money, and then we'll talk about some next steps. So just some quick housekeeping. Since this is a webinar style, you won't have your microphone, so you can jump in the chat, but get rid of any distractions. Don't forget to mute yourself. In this case, we don't have to mute yourself, but stay engaged. I'm going to ask some questions as well. So if you have them, you can drop them in the chat. We can drop them in the Q&A as well. The chat seems to be easier, so we can go back and forth. So if you want to drop them in the chat, it'll be the simplest way to get some questions answered. I may answer some of those questions at the end of the session, but if there are things that pop up, let me know, and we can make sure we get those answered as well. If you have not, you can download this workbook. So I will leave it here. I'm going to drop the link in the chat as well, so you can have that. So it is launchyourfarm.com or launchyourfarmtraining.com/100month. There's a workbook that goes along with this, with the strategies, the 12-month work plan. You can scan the code there as well. So I'm just going to type this in, training.com/. So you guys can access that. So if you want to grab a copy of that now, one thing I do suggest, if you do decide to grab this, go through it and just listen today. You can always go back and watch the replay. So take notes if you want to, but we will be sending out a replay, so you'll have that. So you'll be able to go back and really dive in deeper. Just absorb it, listen to the session today. And then if you really want to take in deeper, go back and watch those notes or watch the replay and take some deeper notes there as well. So can I get your participation to, oh my goodness. Can I get your commitment to participate today? So if you want to drop in the chat, just say yes, drop a yes or a no. The link should be in the chat. Oh, I didn't. Did I share it to everybody? You guys see the link? Should be to everybody. Everyone. Drop it in again. All right, so we get some people committing. Yes, awesome. Okay, great. So I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to get some engagement, so you can drop that in the chat there. I dropped the link again, so you guys can go through that. So good. All right, stick around as well. We got a very special thing that we're announcing at the end, so stick around for that. We'll be launching it at the end once we do that before we get into the questions and answers, so we'll go through that. So before I explain who am I want you to tell us a bit about who you are. So while I'm telling who am I and why I'm here, I want you to drop in the chat your name, where you're from, and how long you've been in the business. So if you can drop that in the chat there, do that. And I'm going to just quickly explain who am I and why I'm here and sharing this with you guys. So if you don't know me, I am Ryan Smith. I am the head coach and the creator of Launch Your Farm training programs. I am a real estate agent myself. So I've been in the business for 16 years. I'm also the host of the Launch Your Farm podcast, and I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach. I've been in the business for 16 years. I don't actively sell. My partner, Nikki, she does the day-to-day selling of the real estate, but I usually focus on the coaching and training now. And I share this because it's important to understand how I got here and what I do is I've moved 4 times in my career. So when I got started, I was 25 years old, and I was in a relationship. I ended the relationship. I wanted a kind of a fresh start. I packed up and moved 3.5 hours away. I didn't know anyone except my aunt and my uncle, and I literally started all over from scratch. And didn't know anyone, had no sphere of influence, no contacts, no real experience in sales. I joined a team. I got started on the team, did pretty well with it. I learned the basics of real estate. I started trying everything I could, and then about almost just shy of 2 years, I ended up meeting someone, and I moved for love. I moved away, about an hour and a bit away, started my business all over again. Again, didn't know anyone other than her, had to relearn the business, restart from scratch, rebuild my connections. Did that for a few years, and then I tried everything, and then I ended up moving again. My mom got sick, and I wanted to be closer to my mom because I was driving back and forth for about 3 hours going to visit my parents. And it just took a toll on me. So I ended up moving closer again, started all over from scratch, started my business again. And in that move, I ended up becoming the productivity coach in my office. So the manager there saw that I had had some experience with moving and restarting and growing businesses quickly. And they took me on as a productivity coach, and I was helping agents grow their businesses. I did that for a few years. And then I started realizing, man, I'm sharing all these things with other agents, helping them grow their businesses, from brand new agents to multiple six-figure agents growing their businesses. And I realized I need to do this in my own business. So I put together an idea of what I thought could work really well. And I partnered with someone, and we started a farm. And we started geographic farming, and we did it differently than everyone else. And some of the things we're going to teach you today are some of the things we did. And I launched my farm. We started in September. And from September to January, we ended up getting our first deal in January. And from January for the next 15 months, we ended up doing 17 transactions in a farm that I had no experience in, no sales in. I was new to the area, and I really took off with it because I knew that there was more opportunities. And I share this because I learned these strategies to get good at farming. I learned strategies that are effective, that are cost effective, that are time effective, and I had to really relearn it again. And when I figured this out, that's what made me get back into coaching and training again with the focus on geographic farming specifically. So I ended up selling that business off to my business partner, and I started focusing on the coaching and training. And I've been doing that for the last 4 years, just before COVID hit, so almost 5 years now. I was fortunate enough to start just before COVID hit, and I had to really learn how to do it again. So I do sell real estate on the side, but not very often. Nikki does the day-to-day stuff. And we ended up moving 3 years ago back to my hometown. So I've actually moved 4 times. And all of that to say, I've been in the trenches. I'm in there day to day, in the day to day, and I've learned what works, what doesn't work, and how to speed things up. So I'm going to share what we're going to be talking about today and how we can get the most out of this. But before I do that, I want to introduce you to my co-host as well, Ollie. You may see him. I think he's sitting on the chair there. He jumps back and forth. So he's the brains of the operation. He's the handsome one, and he sometimes makes guest appearances. So if you see him, that's him there in the background. So I'm going to share how this whole webinar got started and why I created this. It was about a year, I think it was about a year and a half ago. I was in some Facebook groups and someone had posted a question very similar to this. And they said, if I had $100 a month to spend on marketing, what should I do with it? And what happened was very disturbing, very sad. I was very disappointed with the responses that came out of this. A lot of agents were going on saying all kinds of horrible things. They were telling them they should quit the business, they should spend it on booze, give it to me, burn your money. I wouldn't even do this. Are you an idiot? You shouldn't even be in this business. You don't deserve to have your license. People were vicious, they were mean, they were ill-spirited, and it was very discouraging for a lot of people. So I took this on myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to share what I would do with this because it asked, and they said, what would I do if I had $100 a month? And I shared what I would do. So I made a plan. I literally laid out 12 months. I said, if I, on month one, here's what I would do. Month two, here's what I would do. Month three, and so on. And I shared it with the group, and the outpour just started coming in. People started private messaging me. People started commenting on it. People were saying, thank you so much. This is so inspiring. I really appreciate this. There was people saying, you have no idea. I was about to quit the business. This is such a good plan. I appreciate having this simple thing to follow. And I realized that there was a real need for this because there's a lot of agents who maybe are new to the business. Maybe they don't have a lot of disposable income. Maybe they have a little bit of money they want to try things out with and just see what happens. And they really took to this plan. So I created this entire plan for you guys based off of that post that I created. So why am I sharing it with you guys? Obviously, I do coaching and I do training, but there's a few reasons why I wanted to specifically share this one with you. And the first thing I wanted to share, or the first reason I want to share it is I want to save you from bad advice. I want to save you from the advice that agents were sharing in that group. The bad advice that they were telling them to burn it, get rid of it, don't do anything with it, quit the business, because there's a lot of people who maybe knew, maybe they're in a different phase of life and they're not sure what to do, and they maybe got some horrible advice that they were maybe going to listen to. I want to save you from that advice and know that there is opportunities and there is an opportunity for you to make a difference on a small budget. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to share this. I also wanted to encourage you. Maybe you've been in those groups. Maybe you've seen agents being negative with these kinds of things. Maybe you weren't sure what you could do or couldn't do with a $100 a month budget. And I want to encourage you to know that there are opportunities for you as well. I also want to save you some money. There's a lot of agents who go out and spend a lot of money and they blow it on things and don't know if it's going to work. They put their eggs in one basket. They hope that something works. They spend a lot of money and then don't get results. So about a month ago, I was doing a training. One of the ladies there said that she just dropped, I think it was $1,700 in 3 months and didn't get anything, got no leads, got nothing. And she was very discouraged. So she was very encouraged by taking this program. So I want to save you some money because there's a lot of easy ways to spend a lot of money that may not turn into results. So by the end of this, hopefully you'll see how you can spend your money wisely and get results from it. I also want to inspire you. Maybe you've tried farming before and you were discouraged from it and you weren't sure what to do. Maybe you've thought about farming. Maybe you have a limited budget, not sure how you're going to get the money or get a good return from it. So I want to inspire you to take action and put something like this into your own business and go out and take action on it. And lastly, and ultimately, what my goal is for all of my training is to change your perspective on what is possible with farming. A lot of agents have misconceptions on what they think farming is. They have misconceptions on what they can accomplish with farming. They have misconceptions on what's possible. So I want to change your perception. And hopefully by the end of the session today, you will have a new perspective on what you can do, what you can accomplish, and how you can get there. So if I can do that, that's my goal for me. So hopefully I'll accomplish that and hopefully more for you guys as well. So I'm going to ask you guys, if you had $100 right now, so you had $100 cash sitting in your hand and you wanted to go spend that, what is one thing you could go spend that on right now without even blinking that's non-real estate related? So just anything, day-to-day life stuff. What's one thing you could spend $100 on easily? So if you want to drop it in the chat, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Gas, absolutely gas. Food, gas, yep. Groceries, yep. Clothes, gas. Gas is the big one, yeah. Amazon, food, beer, groceries, anything electronics, groceries. Absolutely. So lots of stuff, especially food and gas. Unfortunately, that's the reality we're in right now. Shoes, absolutely. Very easy to spend $100 without even blinking. And we do that every day. We do that on a regular basis. We drop money on things. We go out, spend $100, and a lot of times don't even think about it. So I'm just going to share some simple things that I think you could spend $100 on easily. So if someone mentioned shoes, absolutely. You go out, buy a pair of Nike shoes, drop $100 and not even think twice about it. You could spend it on some entertainment for your kids, maybe a video game or movies out or something like that. Easily, you could drop $100 no, without thinking about it. You could have a dinner or a date night out, $100 at a restaurant. Disappears very quickly, especially if you add a drink in there. So you could easily drop $100 there. A lot of people mention gas. You could easily spend $100 on a tank of gas, no problem, and not even think about it. Or you could spend it on an outfit. You could easily drop $100 and not even think about it. So we acknowledge that it's very easy to spend $100, and it's easy to spend on things that can go by very quickly. But what I want you to think about is, what if you actually save that money? So if you, instead of spending that money each month, you took $100 and you put it away and you didn't spend it, would that change much in your business if you saved the money? Most agents will say no, it won't do that much. You'll have the money sitting in their savings account and you won't be spending it, which is great. Having that money definitely can help. And if you save it, it definitely will help build some types of savings. But what if you actually invested that money in that business rather than spend it on that pair of shoes or that dinner out or the movies? If you invested that money into your business, what would that do for your business? Hopefully, if you follow what we talked about today, you can reshape what you do and get different results. And I know that if you invest it correctly, you can absolutely see a really big return on it if you invest it wisely. Now, in order to make the $100 a month work, there's a few things we have to take into consideration before we start building out that plan. So I'm going to share 3 secrets to making that $100 a month work. So it's easy to spend it. Now we want to make it get results with it and make it work for us. So the first thing we have to do is create a foundation and add building blocks. And this will make sense in a minute as I talk about this, but we have to start with a solid foundation so that when we spend the money and invest the money into our business, it's actually building on something. It's not just haphazardly throwing away money. We want to start with that foundation and then use the building blocks to enhance what we're doing. So that's first step. And again, it'll make sense in a second. The other thing we're going to have to do is think outside the box. We have to think differently than maybe we've thought in the past, or think differently than the way most agents have been trained to think. So we have to think outside the box normally and use different ways of spending our money and spending our time and spending our resources to get a good return on investment. So if we do it well, it can work extremely well when we know what to do. So we'll show you how to do that through this program and thinking outside the box. And then lastly, we can't put all our eggs in one basket. So a lot of agents, when they get started, they pick one strategy, they pick one thing, and they spend all their money on that thing, and then maybe it doesn't work out for them. And then they're like, oh, I just lost all that money. And then they kind of get burnt out, or they lose traction, they lose hope, and they give up. So in order for this to work, we have to have that foundation, we have to think outside the box, and we have to spread out our money evenly so that we're getting more return on our investment. And if we do that, then we can start to really build a serious business off of this. So I'm going to share with you how to get started, and then we're going to talk about the plan itself and dive into literally month by month what I would do with the money. So as I mentioned, we have to start with a solid foundation. And the foundation is going to be the building blocks that we build off of. And you'll see in a second what that looks like and how we build that foundation. When we build a solid foundation, it becomes easier to stack our strategies on top of it. And properly stacked strategies, which is what I teach all the time, is going to help us enhance what we're doing and get more from it. And there's 2 key steps to building that foundation. The first is we have to have a desire to succeed, and we have to have the time to work it. So if we don't have a desire to succeed, I'll tell you, just jump out of this webinar now. If you're not willing to do the work and grow your business, then you might as well go. So there's 134 people in here now. If you don't want to succeed and you don't have a desire to succeed, you might as well jump off the webinar. No offense, but you have to have that desire. Without it, it's going to be very difficult. There's no easy button where you just sit it and sit back and do nothing. And then you also have to have time to work it. So if you are doing a limited budget, you're going to have to be unique and spend your time and energy and resources in different ways. So one of the things I talk about is your budget comes from 4 different areas. So there's a financial budget, which is important, which is what most people think about. There's a time budget, which is just as important as the financial budget. There's an energy budget, which is how much mental energy and emotions we put into it, and then a resource budget. So we have to have time to invest into this if we want it to work, and we have to give it time to actually start working for us. If we're willing to do that, we have the desire to work and the time to do this, then we can start building on that foundation. And the second step is we need the $100 a month. So obviously we're talking about spending the $100 a month. If you don't have that, you might have to be even more unique with what you do, but having $100 a month is going to help us with that solid foundation. And then for this to work, for the plan we're going to talk about, we're going to start with about 500 homes in our area that we're going to focus on. Now you can expand this, you could double it, triple it, whatever you want to do. But for about $100 a month, you'll see how it all plays together and how it ties in. Is we're going to start with about 500 homes to build off of. So once we have that foundation, now we can start building our strategies in place. So now that we know that, I'm going to share with you what I would do. I want to preface this is what I would do. You might do your own things. You might have your own skills, your own strategies, your own resources, your own talents, your own desires of what you want to get out of it. This is just something that I would share. So I'm going to give you my plan on how I would do this, and you can take from it what you want. You can add to it, subtract from it. You can multiply it, do whatever you want with it. This is just my plan and how I would apply it to my business. So for the new people that are jumping on, there's a link for the workbook. If you haven't grabbed it, you can scan it there. And you can go to launchyourfarmtraining.com/100month. I'll leave it up for just another second. So if you guys want to grab that, we can take notes on there. There's the 100-month plan. There's some alternative strategies in there as well. So you can grab a copy of that now. So I'll leave it up for another minute, a couple seconds if you want. You can grab that. And then I'll drop it in the end if you guys want that as well. So let's jump in. So I'm going to share with you my $100 a month blueprint. First thing we're going to start with is a community-based Facebook group. And I'm going to explain this, and I'm going to keep, because each strategy is going to kind of build off each other. So it'll start to make more sense as we add these building blocks in place. Each building block will build off of the last and enhance what we're doing. So for this case, what we're going to do is spend our $100. We're going to spend it on 500 postcards. You can easily get 500 postcards for $100. And we are going to go out and door knock the neighborhood with the 500 homes. And we are going to ask people to join our Facebook group. The one thing you have to understand that this Facebook group is not about you. It's not about real estate. It's not about how great you are. It's about the community. So we're going to build a community-based Facebook group. And this is going to be the starting foundation. Some people say, I don't want to do a Facebook group, or there's too many of them. That's fine. I'm just telling you this is a good starting point because it's going to start to all add together. The purpose of this is to start bringing the community together and start enhancing the other strategies that we're doing. So again, it'll make more sense as we go through the other strategies. It's very simple, straightforward. Again, once you see the bigger picture, you'll understand how the postcard's going to look and what the type of strategy we're going to do is we're going to invite people out and say, hey, we're working on putting together a community Facebook group over the next few months. We're going to be sharing all kinds of things like blah, 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 which will make sense as we go through. I don't want to give it away yet. Just like to personally invite you out. There's a link here. There's a QR code here. Would you like to participate in the group? The goal here is just to get some traction going, get some people into one place and bring them into a place that we can now communicate with them on an ongoing basis. Facebook group is going to help us build off of it, and we're going to layer in more ideas. So take your $500 or take your 500 postcards, door knock the area. Don't just send them out. This is important. For those of you who are afraid of door knocking, most people are afraid of door knocking because they're not sure how people are going to respond. They think people are thinking you're going to sell them something. The nice thing with this approach is we're just inviting them to a community Facebook group. So there's nothing to be worried about. No one's going to bite your head off. We just want to talk about inviting them to this group. Now, someone asked in the Q&A, what if there's so many Facebook groups already? You can absolutely leverage other Facebook groups if you want to, and you can use that as part of your strategy and enhance off of that. You can decide if you want to build your own. This is going to be more specific and more targeted to the area that you're serving. So it depends on what area you are and how many you are. We can talk more about that at the end and answer some of those questions. But if they're existing groups and you're already part of those, by all means, you can participate in those. Just make sure that you're allowed to share and engage and post some stuff in there. But this is first month. So get this done. You can easily get this done in 1 month for 500 homes. Very easy to do, very affordable to do, and get people going. So someone says if no one opens the door, you drop it in the mailbox. Yeah, I would leave it in the door. So I put it in the door uh, weather stripping and stick it in the door when you're there. You can always come back and do it again anyways. So if you want, it's a matter of time if you want to do it, but you could do a morning up shift and then do an evening shift and see. So depends on how engaged you want to do. So good question, Ken. All right. So now that we've done that, we're going to start our next month by focusing on local businesses. And you're going to see that the local businesses is a key part of this and how we build relationships and how we get in front of more people. So for this month, what I want you to do is find 20 to 25 small businesses that are in your area. They don't have to be in the four walls of the area that you're serving, but they have to serve the area that you're targeting. So what we want to do is start to find businesses that we can connect with, build relationships with. And again, this will make more sense as we go through each of these strategies. So I would spend the money on coffee. So 25 businesses, 2 coffees at $2 a piece. I know prices have gone up a bit, but what you'll find is a lot of times if you're meeting a local business, a lot of times they'll buy your coffee as well. But for the sake of this argument, let's just say you're going for Tim Hortons and it's a $2 coffee and it's $2 each. That's $100. If it ends up being $110, don't shoot me for it. But the purpose of this is to connect with the local business. This is not to talk about you. This is not to talk about real estate. This is not to talk about how great you are. This is not to ask them for referrals. This is to connect with them, talk about what your plans are for this group and the plans that you're going to be doing over the next year, and see how you can bring value to them. And when you position it that way, it becomes very easy to connect with local businesses. If you're there going in trying to sell them something or position yourself as a person who's trying to be an agent who's trying to get deals and referrals, it's going to be very discouraging and difficult to do. Purpose of this is just say, hey, I'm starting this new community initiative. Love to meet with you, see how we can bring some value to you and get you in front of the community. That's the simple pitch. It's very easy to position it. And the key is to target businesses that are serving the area that aren't just real estate related. A lot of times as agents, our first default is to go to home inspectors, stagers, lawyers, moving companies. We don't want to go after those businesses because we do them all the time. Look for dog groomers, hairstylists, restaurants, dinners, theaters, whatever it is in your area that people are going to potentially be involved in on a day-to-day basis, things that people are going to enjoy, services that people use. We're trying to connect with people who are connected to the community. This month should be spent connecting and building relationships. Again, when you see the bigger picture, you'll understand how the conversation is going to unfold and how you're going to position this with them. When we do this, we're going to start building this foundation. So you want to get out there and do that as soon as possible. The sooner we meet with them, the sooner we can start putting these pieces into place. So don't drag your feet. Try to book as many as you can. If you can't meet with them at, say, a coffee shop, you can go right to their business and say, hey, I'd love to stop by just for 15 minutes or so. I'll bring you some coffee. Can I pop by and just introduce myself and talk about what we're working on? Super simple, saves time, energy, and you can bring the drinks to them as well. This is important because you're going to see these local businesses are going to play a key part in some of the things we're going to work on over this plan. Next thing, what we want to do is a community food drive. And I know it sounds weird because it's a food drive. Why would we be doing a food drive for this? But this is one of the most powerful, most cost-effective, and efficient ways to get in front of the community. And it's amazing how it changes people's perspectives of you and the business. And what we want to do with the food drive is we can print off some postcards or flyers for, same 500 of them. And the goal of the food drive is to connect with the community and connect the community to a cause in the area that we're serving. We've done this. We're now doing our third one this year, and it is super easy to put together. It's very effective. And what we do is we go out and we host the event and we do a porch pickup. So we say, hey, on this date, we're putting together a food drive. We'd love for you to participate. If you're interested, let us know. We'll register you on this date. Between this time and this time, we're going to be picking up the food. Just let us know if you're participating, and we'll set you up on the list, and we'll send you a reminder before a day or two before the thing, just to send out a reminder to let you know about it. The great thing with this is it connects you to the community. You're now building your database. A lot of people are willing to do this more than they would be to talk about real estate. It shows that you're community involved. You're giving back to the community. You're now also connecting with a local charity that you can sponsor and be part of. And you can grow your database very, very quickly this way and in a different way. So instead of just talking about real estate, you're positioning in a much different way. So someone asked about this food drive again. So the goal here is doing a community food drive where the people in the community are participating. So we say we're hosting a community food drive. We're going to be doing a porch pickup food drive. So you guys donate the food on this specific date. We're going to be picking it up from your home. We'll orchestrate the whole thing. We're collecting it all together, and we'll be delivering it to the food, the organization that we're going to be dropping off. This is super affordable. We did ours the first year. We literally had a sheet of paper we printed off on our computer. We literally cut it down the middle. It's just black and white. Said, order food drive. Here's this is the date and time, porch pickup. We door knocked the area and let people know we're putting together a food drive. Would you like to participate? And it was very straightforward, very simple. We ended up doing, I think it was like 380 pounds of food the first time we've done it. So our goal is to try to do more than 500 pounds this year. From a time perspective, this is an amazing use of time. So it took Nikki about an hour to put together the flyer and the landing page. She used a Google form, put it together, and then she door knocked 2 evenings. I think it was 2.5 hours each, so about 5 hours, so 6 hours combined. We did the porch pickup stuff. It took about 2 hours and then an hour to deliver it and drop it off. So in around 10 hours, we were able to collect, I think it was about 50 plus people in our database in 10 hours worth of work, and now have had them in our database long term. Very straightforward, very simple to do. So I'd be doing postcards. And then what I would also do is now flyers that you can print off and have them in the local businesses. So we talked about partnering with those local businesses. That would be one of the things I'd be talking with them and say, hey, we're looking to do a local food drive. Would you be willing to participate? Would you be willing to put up a poster in your area? And would you be willing to potentially be a drop off in case people can't make it to or do the porch pickup? So now we've engaged the businesses. We now have more distribution where our signs are up in people's businesses, and we're using them to help promote the event as well. And then we have the Facebook group, which we are now promoting the event in the Facebook group. So now you can see it starts to stack and build off of each other. And this becomes very powerful and an easy way to grow your business. So what we now do is now that we've done that, we also, one of the things we offer is a report, which I'll get to in a few minutes for a newsletter. And we have an option on there saying, would you like to get our newsletter? And now we can connect and grow our business or our database that way as well. So it allows us to expand on our reach. So this is a super easy way to build build our database quickly. Someone asked about Castle and being compliant. So yeah, that's why we have a permission on there for commercial purposes. Yeah, we have a checkbox saying that we have permission for them to contact, and you can create a simple thing there. So, yeah. Google form, we use a Google form. I can answer that later as well and how we do that and set up. It's very straightforward, free, and easy to set up. So, Food Drive, great way to build rapport and add to your database. Next thing we want to do is start to do business interviews. So by now, we've hopefully had an opportunity to connect with some local businesses. We found businesses that we connect with and we enjoy, we like, we think might be a good fit for us, and we want to do some local business interviews with those businesses. There's a real impactful and powerful reason why we do this. There's four actually, but there's a couple that are really important. The first is we're now creating content that we can use for our audience. So that alone is worth it. So we can share it in our Facebook group, we can share it with our email list, and you'll see we can share it in other places as we build this out. But we have content that we can use that's hyper local and community focused on a regular basis. The next important thing is now we're building relationships with the local businesses, and that long term is invaluable. The relationships we have with those businesses, they can refer us, they can send us business, they can cross promote with us, which we'll talk about in a bit. How we can start cross promoting with each other. Those relationships are invaluable because they have an audience already. They have people that they are going to connect you with, and they have people that we don't already know that we can now get in front of, which is the third reason why this is so important, is they're going to share it. And what happens is when you interview someone, when you feature someone, something magical happens. And I use this all the time is if I run a Facebook ad for my business, I don't tell my parents or tell my friends that I ran a Facebook ad. It's just part of my business and I do that. But if I get featured on something, I'm much more likely to go share that with my audience because it makes me feel good. It's a great story and I can share that. And people are more likely to share it with their audience. So that's one of the things that we ask with these local businesses. Say, hey, we'll do an interview with you. All we ask is that you share it with your audience once it's up and ready. So there's no cost. We're going to promote you to our audience. Will you share this with your audience? So now what happens is now you just reach a much broader audience and it expands very quickly. So we did this. I just checked the numbers yesterday, actually. There's a local Pokemon shop in our area, and my son loves Pokemon. We should go there all the time. They know us, we know them, and we said we'd like to do a local business interview with you. It'll just be a quick interview. Do you mind if we just do a quick shout out for you guys? And they said, sure. We ended up tying it to a giveaway, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And that video, last time I checked, we had 1,100 views on that video. And about 600 of them were from them, and 500 was from our audience. So we more than doubled our reach just because they shared it with their audience. So what happens is when they share it, now we're getting in front of more people. And the last part, which is the most important part, the fourth part, is it builds trust because they're sharing it. So we get credibility and we get trust because now we're seen as the expert for having these people on and having them share their information with us. And we get the trust from them passed on to us. And I use examples like Oprah, Larry King, Joe Rogan. They're experts on bringing on experts. They're not the experts on the things that they're talking about with their guests, but they bring on experts, and then people trust they are going to bring on great people and they're going to bring on great information and they're going to share that with their audience. So it allows us to enhance our credibility and trust because we're now bringing in connected community members and helping them share their story. So it's very straightforward, very simple, and very easy to do. I usually go with the 5 who, what, where, when, why, and how questions. And it's you don't need a fancy script. You don't need to be super polished. You can use your cell phone. It's very simple. You can use Zoom like this and do an interview. Cell phone or camera in person is better. But the simple script is who are you? What is it that you do? Where can people find out about you? When or how long you've been in the business for? And how can people find out or what do you do that's different? So keep it simple, keep it straightforward. Just give people a little glimpse into this business. You can make it more fun. You can add some fun questions, but at a bare minimum, just do who, what, where, when, why, and how. Ask those questions, share the video. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be fancily edited. You could literally just go live on Facebook and share it into your Facebook group, and use this for great content. So if I'm spending the $100, in this case, if you already have the existing equipment, you can save the $100, invest it somewhere else. But what I would do is buy a lavalier microphone. You can buy them on Amazon. You can get wireless mics that clip on, and they're Bluetooth. So one end connects to your phone, and then there's 2 wireless mics. We just got them on sale on Amazon Prime Day for, I think it was like $22 for a pack of 2, but they're usually about $30 for a decent set. So invest $30 in that. I would invest it in a tripod with a cell phone holder. Those are about $30 for something like that. And then if you want to go real crazy, you could get a light or a ring light to help just light it up. But really, you just need lavalier mics and your tripod, and you're up and running. So if you have that existing equipment, great. You've got that extra cash that you can reinvest somewhere else. Doesn't have to be super high polished. It actually is better when it's not super high polished. If it's over the top quality, it's people don't look at it the same way. So we want to be kind of gritty, down and down to the people or down with the people and just share what's going on. The nice thing with this is you can keep building your catalog and reuse those. And then if you go back to what we talked about, you can share it in the Facebook group. You can get the local businesses to share it. As we grow our email list, we can use that and we'll share it in other ways. So this is very impactful and powerful way to reach people in your community at a fast pace. So keep growing it and you're going to start to see much more examples. For the people that there's questions being asked, I'm going to try to get through some of those, but I'll go back and answer them at the end just because of time. We want to make sure we have them. But someone asked about time. So keep them short, 1, 2, 3 minute videos. There's not Joe Rogan 3-hour podcast, just super simple. Keep it simple and easy to do. So quick, easy is good. If you want to go longer, by all means. The other thing is a lot of people are afraid of being on camera. If you do this style, you don't really have to be doing much on camera. You're more just asking the questions. So the onus is on them to bring their A game. One thing I will note is that sometimes you have great guests who are very good on camera, and there's people who may not be so great. So pick and choose who you want, but make sure that you're going to be able to provide great content. So that's month 4. Month 5 is creating a community newsletter. Again, you're going to start to see how these all start stitching together. What I would do is take the $100, go back and get some postcards and invite people to join your community newsletter. And the purpose of this is to be community, not real estate newsletter, not Ryan Smith newsletter, not how great I am. The community newsletter is super important because it's going to be geared to the community. What we want to do is go out, door knock, invite people to join the community newsletter and say, we're going to be putting together a community newsletter. We send it out monthly. There's going to be tips, tricks, things that are going on in the community, things you should know about, local business interviews. You'll see some of the other stuff we're going to talk about and how it all ties together. And we're going to be community focused. We'd love for you to participate and be involved and just be helping out the community itself. Now, what we can do, you go back to the Facebook group. You can share this to sign up in the Facebook group and say, hey, we're starting a community newsletter. Would you like to support it? You can go to those local businesses and say, hey, we're supporting this local, or we're creating a new newsletter. Would you like to promote it? Would you like to be featured in it? And would you be willing to help us support and grow that newsletter? We can go to the business interviews, and we can have in our description saying, hey, if you like this video, sign up for our newsletter to see more news or more videos like this. And now we start to focus on building another way of reaching people in a different avenue, in another medium. The nice thing with a newsletter is, regardless of what happens with social media, you still have their email address. So you have a better way of communicating with people than just being social media focused. Rules can change with social media, laws can change, technology can change, interests can change. And when you have an email address, it's easier to send stuff to people than just using social media. So having both is going to double enhance what you're doing. The nice thing with the newsletters, you can control more what content goes in there. You can customize it. You can build something that's really engaging. We use one, and this is part of how we built our farm, was a community newsletter. We called it a neighborhood home price report. And from our farm, we ended up with, there was 3,600 people. We ended up getting 450 people getting our report every month. Nikki now does a digital one in our neighborhood, in our area, and I think she has almost 1,000 people on her report. And it's super easy to get people to sign up for it. And the open rates are through the roof. So does anyone know what the average industry open rate is for real estate emails are? If you guys want to drop in the chat, take a guess if you don't know. Less than 1%, more than that. 10 to 15. Anyone else? 1 to 2, 10. So last I checked was between 15 and 18% open rate, which is around what most industry open rates are. So that means for every 100 emails you send, 10 to 18 of those, or 15 to 18 of those are being opened, which is not very high. Our open rate is 56% on average, which means people enjoy what we want when we send them. They keep coming back month after month. They enjoy the content. They know what it is. They're excited about it, and people keep coming back for that. We just got a listing presentation booked. Someone who's been on a report, they were in from last year. They've been getting our monthly report. He called us this morning and said, hey, we're thinking about selling. Can we meet? It works. It ties in real estate lightly, but it keeps people connected to the community. So this is super, super powerful and a very effective way to add more value overall than just being real estate related. So if you've never done something like this before, this can be a game changer for agents and can add a ton of value long term. The next one is running a contest. So what we want to do with a contest is go back to some of those businesses that we like and say, hey, listen, we're going to be running a contest. I'd like to buy a gift card from you, and we're going to use the gift card as a giveaway. So you could do 4 $25 gift cards or 5 $20 gift cards. What you'll find is if you've built a relationship with these local businesses so far, a lot of them will just be like, hey, you know what? I'll just donate one to you. So if they do, you can make your pile even higher. But we always offer to buy them first. We never ask for them to donate because we want to support them and we want people to come back and support them as well. So we buy the gift cards from them, and there's 2+ ways that you can use this. One is you can use the gift card and go back to the newsletter and say, hey, listen, anyone who signs up for our newsletter in this month is going to be entered into a draw to win these gift cards. Now you can stack them. You could say one big pot, $100 worth of gift cards, or you could do 4 individual gift cards or 2 gift cards for first place, and 1 and 2 get the second and third one, or 2 and 3 get the second and third one. You can decide how you want to do this. But the key here is to help support those local businesses, to help bring attention to those local businesses and promote them, but use it as a way to generate more leads. And when we use it, and we use it as a carrot, then we get more people willing to sign up and register for our information. This ties nicely into the newsletter, especially if you're getting it launched. This is why I put it right after it, because if you want to do a newsletter, this is an easy way to do it. You can just say, hey, we're launching a new community newsletter. We'd love to get the community involved. If you entered in for this month, we're going to be doing a giveaway. Would you like to participate? Makes people excited about it. You help support those local businesses, and now people are going to help support them. Going back to the Pokemon shop, we did that for one of our videos. And in the video, we did a contest and said, drop your favorite Pokemon in the chat for a chance to win. So now it was helping support them. We got people who liked Pokemon. That way we knew that people who were posting about Pokemon were more likely to want to get that. And then we ended up having, I think it was like 80 people drop comments in there, and there was a ton of people sharing it. And we got a lot of eyeballs on it. And we got a good way to help support them and good eyeballs on for us. So this is a good way to enhance what we're doing. It also ties into the next month's strategy, so it'll make sense in just a second. But what we want to focus on is a community survey. And with the community survey, the goal here is to connect with the community and collect from the community. We want to collect information and connect with them. And we do that by asking some simple questions. We say, we're doing a community survey. We're working on some new things for our community initiative. So, what we're working on, we just want to ask a few questions. Now, this is where you could use the gift cards. You could say, hey, anyone who does the survey with us is entered into a draw to win this local gift card. The purpose of this is to start to find out information about from people outside of just a real estate related thing. We want to talk to them about the community itself. So we want to ask them some simple questions like, what do you like about the neighborhood? What would you like to see in this neighborhood? What are some things that people don't know about the neighborhood that they should know about? What are your favorite businesses? Where should people go? Just generally collect information about what people like and what people should know about. We're going to use this in another month to use that information to help enhance what we're doing. And it's a great way to connect in a different light. If you're just there going, hi, do you want to buy a home? People are going to close the door and be like, no, thanks. Now, when you start to hear them and you're listening to them and you're engaging with them, it shows that you care about the community. It shows that you care about them, and it shows that you care about bringing them together with the community. Great thing with this is people are much more likely to answer questions like this than they are talking about real estate specifically. But we're, again, hoping to get them into our database. And this is how we add them to our database. We say, love to collect some information from you. We're going to be doing the survey. Would you mind if we follow up with you with the results? Or would you like to be entered into the draw? We'll follow up with you. So now you can, again, add people to your database and follow up with them long term. If you do this well, people won't even realize that you're there trying to help you build your database. They see it as a way to connect and collect information. So if we do this well, it's also going to help us be seen as a different type of agent in the community. Most agents are just there talking about themselves and how great they are. This shows that we are there and giving back to that community. So we can use that gift card, use that as a way to support it. Now, going back to the beginning, we can now share the survey in the Facebook group and promote it in the Facebook group and say, hey, people are in part of this Facebook group, fill out the survey. We can go to the local businesses and ask them to help promote it and get them to share it. We can now send it out in our newsletter. If we got people on the newsletter saying, hey, we're doing a survey. We want to know what people think about the community. Can you fill this out? We've got the video interviews, so you could add that into the description and say, hey, we're doing a community survey for this month. Please enter out and let us know what you think about the community. So you can see it all starts to tie together and build this ecosystem. The next thing is to now support a community cause. So the food drive was one type of cause. This is a different approach and a different way of helping give back to the community. And what we want to do is bring light to a cause, not just support them. And a lot of times when it comes to community initiatives, most community initiatives, organizations, and nonprofits, they basically just want your cash and they want to take that money. So they'll ask you for a sponsorship. They'll put your logo on something. You give them a bunch of money, and then they hopefully will try to promote well. And a lot of times they're not very good at promoting, and it doesn't really help you. So what we do is choose a cause that you can support and bring attention to it. And your job is to help bring attention to that cause at your cost. So, for example, we had there's a Montessori school in our area that was doing a community event, and they were trying to raise awareness for it. They wanted to do it was a circus themed event, and they said, would you be willing to sponsor it? We said, rather than a sponsor it, what we'll do is we'll promote it to our neighborhood that we farm. We have a newsletter, we have videos, we have a Facebook group we're part of, we've got a report that we send out. We can put it on our postcards, and we'll door knock the area. So we ended up doing 1,000 postcards. We door knocked the event or door knocked the neighborhood, invited people to the event, and we got a flood of people to find out about this. And we sponsored it by letting people know. So it killed two birds with one stone because it helped get the attention for them. But again, it also helped connect us to the community and the causes in that community. So I want you to think about things that are in your community that you can bring light to. Maybe there's someone that needs some help in the community. Maybe someone's house burnt down, or maybe there's a organization that you want to support, or maybe there's something like a playground needs to be built, or you could help clean up a park. Think about things that you can bring attention to and get the community involved around that. So I would take that money, the $100 a month, and spend it on some postcards and flyers and go invite people in your community to that and help bring awareness to it. And if we do that well, it's going to help, again, connect us to the community in a much different light. This is easy to do, cost effective, and I guarantee you, you spending that time on promoting it is going to go a lot farther than $100 spent on a sponsorship with your logo on something. So this, again, helps us, helps the community, and it helps circle back into everyone that we're working toward, everything we're working towards. So again, find something that you can support And if you already have something you know, great. Otherwise, start to look. And then again, this is part of where we go back to that survey. Is there causes? Is there things in the community that you can find out about? And that's one of the questions you can ask is, are there any organizations you like in the community that need some support, that needs awareness to? Are there any things that we should be bringing attention to as a community? And now you can start using that information. So again, going back, you can promote this in the Facebook group. You can promote it on your YouTube videos. You can promote it with those local businesses. You can promote it in your newsletter, and it just keeps expanding. The next thing is to create a community guide. Now, this is going to take a little bit of work up front, but once we get it done, we can use this over and over and over again. I would take the $100 and I would either hire someone to design it for me. So you could hire a virtual assistant to design it for you. You can go on something like Etsy and buy templates for this. And I would do this in Canva because it's very easy to do. You can even use some templates in Canva. If you're handy, you don't even have to spend any money. You can create this yourself. And the purpose of the community guide is to connect the community to the community itself. So we want to highlight things to do, places to go, things people should know about, important dates, events, your business, local things that are going on. And now what we can start to do is take some of that information that we got from that survey and say, hey, here's some things that people liked. People like this park, or people like this playground, or people like this event, or people like this restaurant. What you can actually do is now highlight them. So if there's people who are very well connected or very passionate and enthusiastic, you could have a little thing that says Jane's favorite restaurant here and use that as a way to help support them and give back to them. But here's where the magic happens. If you do this digitally, what I would do is now go back to those local businesses and say, listen, we've created a community guide and we want to help support the community guide. We're going to partner with you and we're going to co-brand this with you. And all we ask is that you support the guide by sharing it with your audience. We're going to split the cover. You're going to be co-sponsored it. We're also doing this with some other businesses as well, but you can use your own and share it with your audience. We're going to do a one-page article on you, or one-page information about you, or one-page ad about you. We're going to highlight the local business or the local business interview that we did of you. It's going to be in there, and now you can share that with your audience. Now you could go do the exact same thing with 5 or 10 different businesses in the area. They each get their own customized version of this, and now they're going to share it with the community as well. Just so happens that your marketing's in there, your branding's in there, your information's in there, your lead generation thing, lead magnets are in there, and now they're sharing it with their audience, but it's helping support you. So this now gets you in front of a lot more people a lot quicker, and a lot more people are going to be exposed to this at a much higher rate, and it shows that you are connected to the community as well. And because you're co-branding it with them, they're again much more likely to share that. So now you can really reach a lot of people quickly and enhance what you're doing. The nice thing with this is it takes a bit of time up front, but once you have it set up, it's just updating some things. Maybe there's some dates changes or some phone numbers change, or maybe some of the businesses went out of business. But once you do this and you have it set up, it's super easy to just update and keep sending it out. The other reason why this is so important is you can use this as a lead generator. So you could create a landing page. You can get people to sign up for it. You can get them to sign up from your Facebook group, from your newsletter, from all the other things, and get people to put their hands up and register for this. You can use this in your listing presentations. You can use this for your buyers that are coming in. There's so many ways you can leverage this to reach more people and help position you as that expert. So super powerful, super easy to do. Once you get it set up, you can make you look like a rock star, and it's very easy to leverage in multiple ways. Next one is collaborative marketing. So now we're in month 10. By now, hopefully we've got some strong relationships with local businesses. Now it's our turn to ask them for a favor. We've been helping these businesses. We've been supporting them. We've been promoting their stuff. We've been co-branding things with them. Now we want them to collaborate and help us market to them. This is where I would start asking them to do some joint marketing to promote you to their audience. So hopefully their audience has had a little bit of taste of who you are and some of the things you're doing. Maybe they've ended up in your database. We want to get them to help promote us. So I would take the $100 and use it to help collaboratively market. So maybe it's spent on marketing materials. I didn't pick one specific thing for this because it depends on each business. Maybe it's creating some graphic designs for it. Maybe it's using spending it on gift cards to help use that as a giveaway that you can promote. The key here is getting these local businesses to help support you. One of the things that I always do when I meet with local businesses is I always lead with, or finish up with, how can I add value to you? I always ask that to the business owner. And what magically happens is they'll say, well, you could help me with this, this, and this. And then a lot of times they'll say, well, how can I help support you? And this is your chance to say, hey, you know what? Remember how you asked how we can help me? I'm working on this new thing. I've got this new thing launched. Would you be willing to help support this and promote this to your audience? This is our chance to really work together. By now, hopefully, you have a few relationships that would be willing to do this. You know who has an audience, who's willing to engage, who would be willing to connect you, and use this opportunity to get more entrenched into their audience. We've been trying to grow our audience, but also give value to our audience. Now we want to get connected to their audience and bring some value to them as well. So I didn't spend a specific way to spend $100 this month. Just think creatively because each business is going to have different things they can do, different offerings, and you can say, here's what I want to do, here's what I have in mind, or see what they have in mind. They may have their own, hey, I've got this event coming up, I've got this thing I'd like to do. Maybe I'd like to put a poster in my business, whatever it looks like. Start collaborating with them. Now you can do this sooner, but I did put it on later on just because hopefully by now we've had an opportunity to build a relationship with them and connect with them and show that we're here for the long run. We mean business. We're here to help support the community. And by now they should see that you're a legitimate person and want to do business with you. So number 11, month 11 is doing a neighborhood social. What I would focus on is bringing the community together. Now, we've brought the community together in a Facebook group. We've hopefully brought them together through a newsletter. We've hopefully brought them through some of the things that are going on in the community, but we want to bring them together physically if we can. And I would focus on trying to create some type of event that people will come together and help position you as the person who brought the people together. There's a few different ways you could do this. You could do something like a food truck. So you do food truck in the park. The great thing about this is you don't have to spend any money. You're just going to promote it. So you could say to the food truck, hey, we're going to put together a community food night. We'd love for you to be there. They're going to buy their own food. So I can't guarantee how much you're going to make, but I'm going to promote the heck out of it to my audience. Would love for you to be there. And now you invite people out. You could have something like a dinner night, or you could have something like host a trivia night where it's at a restaurant and they're buying their own food and drinks, but you're sponsoring the event. The goal here is to bring the community together. Maybe it's a drinks night. Maybe it's movies in the park, whatever it looks like. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money to do this. The key is trying to bring the community together. The second option is to go back to some of those local businesses and say, hey, we want to make this a little bit more than just $100. Would you be willing to sponsor it as well and help participate in this? I mentioned earlier that I'm not a big fan of sponsoring when you give money for a logo, but when we get them to sponsor, they could sponsor the food, some drinks, things like that. You could do a barbecue. The key here is really to bring people together, and it doesn't have to cost much money. So I would spend the $100 on either promoting it or helping get people into the door. In our community, in our neighborhood, someone organized an event where they got all the people on our street together and did a dinner on Wednesday nights over the summer, and people brought food around and people connected, and you could do things like that. So the key is really just bringing people together. So think creatively, think how you can do that. Again, each community, each neighborhood is going to be different on what you can and can't do or what you want to do. So just think about how you can bring those people together. And then lastly is month 12 is celebrate your wins. So spend that money on you. We talked at the beginning how you could spend it on gas. Hopefully you don't spend it on you to celebrate with gas, but dinner out, entertainment, a new pair of shoes, a new dress, whatever it looks like, take the time now to spend on you. If you don't want to do that, reinvest that $100. You're more than welcome to, but just take some time now. You're a year into this and you've committed to doing this and committed to growing and do that. So that's a 12-month plan. This is a basic framework that I've given you. You've got literally step by step what you can do with this. But I want you to think at the end of the year, after you've done this, is really reevaluate what worked and what didn't. I'm a big fan of doing things in quarterly, half the year, and a year. At the end of the year, go back and think about what did I like? What didn't I like? What worked? Where would I want to spend more money? Where can I spend less money? And reevaluate what's going to work for you. If you've done this, there's going to be some things that crush it. And there's going to be some things where you're like, that didn't really work as well. And this is part of why we say try different things and see what works and what doesn't work. Think about how you can adapt things. Think about how you can make them better. Think about how you can double down. By now, you've got a large database, hopefully. You've been connecting with the community and you've built a lot. So you now have a plan. So it's your turn. You can do one of two things. You can do nothing with this. And unfortunately, a lot of agents will do nothing with it. But I literally gave them an entire plan. Or you can go out and do something. And if you do something, I guarantee you things will change in your business. So if you did this and you committed to this literally month by month and you did exactly what I said, I want you to think about what's the worst that would happen for your business. If you started a YouTube channel or a Facebook group, you connect with local businesses, you started doing local business interviews, you started highlighting people, you started creating events, you started creating an email newsletter, you started creating a community guide, all of these things. If you did this after 1 year, what do you think would happen with your business? Do you think it would be worse off? the same or better off. I guarantee you, if you do it, it can't be worse off. So it's going to be at least the same, if not better. And a good friend of mine, Adam, when he got started in his business, he started with $100 a month. And he said to his wife, I'm going to spend $100 a month. I'm going to pick a small farm area. There was 280 homes. And he said, I'm going to spend $100 a month. And he said, at the end of the year, if I spent 1,200 bucks, she wasn't going to kill me at the end of the year if I got nothing from it. Adam became super focused. I helped him when he was working on his farm. There was 280 homes and there was 11 sales in that farm, and he got 8 deals from that farm in 1 year, spending $100 a month. So if you're hyper focused and you're intentional with it and you're purposeful, I guarantee you you can make a real impact in your business and the community you serve. So think about what's the worst that can happen. And then I want you to think about what strategies can you put into your business. Again, you don't have to follow my system verbatim. Think about what skills you have, what connections you have, what strategies have you done, what strategies would you like to do. Think about how you can customize this and put your own spin on it. If you're willing to do that, you can make this into something even more great. So as I mentioned at the beginning, there's the download book or the downloads for this. You can grab that. There's a 12-month plan. There's also some alternative strategies, and there's notes for going through each month. Go through this and lay out your year. I'm not saying everything has to be set in stone, but really think about what strategy you're going to do each month. What's your budget for the month? What's your goal for that? Everything should have a goal, one main goal for each of those strategies, whether it's adding people to the database, connecting with more people, providing support to someone, whatever it looks like. Plan out your year and think about how you can build this out for the next year. And if you stick with that, I guarantee you your business will absolutely change. If you're willing to do that, I promise you, I'd love to hear from you in a year from now. I guarantee you your business will be in a much better place than it was this year. That doesn't have to cost you a lot. So, what's next? I'm going to share some super awesome stuff. I mentioned at the beginning that there's a new thing that I'm working on. So there's going to be 2 things that I want to share with you. But the first is this new program I'm launching. So I want to share I'm launching November 1st. I'm going to be launching a new program called the Local Expert Academy, and we're going live November 1st. It's a complete step-by-step program that I built to help you dominate your geographic farm and help you become that go-to agent in your community. In the program, we're going to be focusing on powerful strategies each month. So it's super manageable. There's one strategy per month that we're going to teach you so you can implement into your business, so you can execute on it, get it set up, and it's month to month. So there's no long-term contract with the program. So it gives you the opportunity to jump in. If you like it, you can stick with it. Hopefully you build this out. There's going to be 12 different sessions over the year. So you basically are going to learn 12 distinct individual blocks of business that you can add to your business. And if you do it well, I promise you by the end of the year, you're going to have an amazing business. So the goal here really is to get you up, running, and using these strategies and putting them into place. There's monthly group coaching included in that. There's guides, templates, strategies, all implemented in it. So you're not being left out on your own to figure this out. So we have twice a month group coaching to help you get through this. It's got done for you templates, scripts, the tools, everything you need to do this. I made it super, super affordable. I'm all about doing as affordable as you can. So if you want to join the waitlist before we launch on November 1st, you can get in line, and we're going to be unlocking some bonuses for anyone who signs up earlier and gets on the waiting list. So if you want to do that, you can go to localexpertacademy.com and sign up for the waiting list. We're going to be launching over the next week and letting you know when we go live on the 1st. We'll get you set up and ready to go, and you're going to get right into the training. So I'd love for you to participate in that. If that's not your thing, that's okay. We also have the Local Expert Facebook group, or the Expert Agent Facebook group. If you're not part of that, I'd love for you to be part of that. We do live training, we do webinars, we got tips, tricks, strategies. You're connecting with local agents. We're at about 800 agents now. My goal is to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. So I'd love for you to be part of that as well. So you can join the Expert Agent. You can go to Facebook and look up Expert Agent, or you can scan the code or just use the link there as well. So I'd love to be either one of those things are going to be awesome for you to help grow your business. So with that, I will open it up for questions. I'm going to go through the chat there and see if there's any questions that popped up. If you have questions, by all means, drop them in there. Love to hear what you guys have, and then we'll answer your questions. So cost, it's $99 a month for now. So if you join up front, it's 99 bucks a month and you're locked in for it. So it's super affordable. And literally, I promise you, you'll not find anything like this for 99 bucks a month. Someone asked, thank you very much. Cost. Yes, recording. Yep. How does this Local Academy work? But Local Academy basically is just it's monthly sessions. So we unlock monthly sessions with all different strategies each month. So you can go on the site and you'll see individually what month we're going to be doing, and all the details are there. Yes, you'll be getting a recording. So there. All right. So let's jump through. ask you guys if you have questions. By all means, jump in. We'll go through them. So there's lots here. It's 99 bucks a month Canadian. Yeah. So if you're American, you get it for a good price. Facebook is the expert agent, so you can find the expert agent if you jump on there. If you already have a team farming in the area, I I would say do your research to find out if they're actually farming at a high level. That's a whole other question we can talk about. But these are going to be different than 99% of agents will ever do. So I promise you, you'll be able to stand out and create more value. This will be a very different way of doing farming than most agents do. So this is definitely a different way of doing it. How would you approach a neighborhood with lots of apartments that I can't door knock? I would decide if that's really a neighborhood you want to go after. If it's apartment buildings, I don't know if I would want to farm that. You can. There's just would change the approach or the strategies. You could be doing mailers. That's going to be a little more costly. If they're apartments and they're rentals, then you're going to have to try to convert them from renters into buyers. So then you'd look at pricing. Is the right style of right price point for people to move into it? Are there people moving from there into the neighborhoods? So I would decide if that's a good neighborhood overall. If there's a few in there, then you can definitely farm it, but I would be farming residential homes as well. Um, Someone said the $100 a month. Oh, $100 turned into $200 a month. Yes, if you decide to take the program, but I promise you it'll be easier. Um, do you have to live in the area you want to farm? Not at all. And that's one thing you don't have to. I just did a training session this morning. I have never lived in the area that I farmed. I live around the area that I farmed, so I'm 10, 15 minutes away from it. But if you're farming a specific neighborhood, no, you definitely don't need to live in the area by any means. Costs. What other questions we got here? How do you scan a QR code from the webinar on the screen? You should be able to hold your phone up. So if you want to do it on your phone, you can do it that way. So the 1 to 12 months is going to be elaborated with the academy. Yeah. So that is a different. It's some of the things that we teach in this program is in the academy. There's actually more in depth, more enhanced skills. So it's way more than just the strategy we talked about today. If you go on the local expert academy, or the local expert academy's website, it literally shows you month by month, and you'll see what things you're going to be learning in there. So there's that. Is there any other questions? How do you brand the Facebook community group? Name after community. Yes, absolutely. So it'd be life in, living in, things to do in. So it'd be around that community itself. Don't brand it about yourself. You can in the branding itself. So if you have a like a Facebook banner, you could put brought to you by or powered by and have your information in there. But really the name should be about the community you serve. We were focusing on one of the areas was Binbrook I was looking at, and so it was life in Binbrook. So you could do something like that, or this community name that you're focusing on, just have it as the name, or living in or community, whatever it is, you can do it that way. So someone said, yes, yep, we'll email you recording the session for sure. So yeah. Do you guys have any other questions? There's a bunch on there's some on the Q&A let me get to as well. What if there's an agent in the team? Oh, someone already asked that. Yeah. If there is competition, first I want to find out how much market share they actually have. So one of the things you need to understand is do they actually have market share because they're farming, or do they have market share because they're a large agent? So in my area, when we were started, there was a team that was doing almost 400 deals a year. If you go into any neighborhood, just by default, they're going to have a volume of business in there that most agents don't have because of the volume overall they're doing. So I'd find out, are they actually farming? Are they farming at a high level? Not everyone is going to like that person. So just because someone's farming, there's going to be an opportunity for you to compete against them or be the anti version of them. But usually I tell people I wouldn't consider them real competition unless they have 25% or more market share. 10% market share, 15% market share, I wouldn't be worried about. What I would look for is a conglomerate of agents having a large market share. So if you have like 5 agents doing 10% each, then it's harder to break through that wall where 50% of the deals are coming from these few agents. If there's a solo agent or solo team just doing that much deals, it's a lot easier to compete against them that way. So if there's an agent that are there for, 20%, I wouldn't be too concerned because you can always do the opposite of what they do and work differently and stand out differently. Again, most agents aren't going to be doing the things that I teach because I know that because I've taught all over. So think about how you can stand out and create value that way. So I wouldn't be too concerned about competition. I can tell you, I've spoke to thousands of agents across North America. Not many agents are doing it that high level, that consistently in really any market. If there is an agent that's crushing your area, then you may want to reconsider if that's the right farm for you. That's something you definitely want to consider. If you do sign up for the academy, we have a whole training section on choosing your farm. So we go through kind of a not a light version. It's a pretty hefty version of it. It's a 40-minute training just on choosing the right farm and going through the right metrics, the things that I teach on, like the total farm value, all the different metrics that we would consider, not just simple things. So if you haven't chosen a farm, it's a good way to help you do that. So Ken asked earlier about opening the door or dropping the mailbox. Yeah. You're away for a few days at the beginning of November. It's you unlock it. So Charlene asked about the training. You unlock the training, so you'll have access to it. Everything's there. So you log in, all the training will be there. It's pre-recorded for the training sessions, and then the live coaching sessions are twice a month. So the second and fourth Tuesday of every month, and those are recorded as well. So if you miss it, it'll always be there. Once you whatever you pay for is what you unlock. So if you buy that month, then you have access to that, and you can go back and watch that as much as you want. So someone asks, AJ asks, is there one-on-one coaching? I absolutely offer one-on-one coaching. If that's something you're interested in, you can reach out to me. We can discuss what you're looking for and how we can help. I absolutely do offer one-on-one coaching for that. So happy to do that. Is this link back to Agent Locator, the farming? There are things you can use. I personally, we use Agent Locator in our business. So you can absolutely use Agent Locator to leverage things like the Nosy Neighbor program, the home valuation plan, the listing search programs, using campaigns you can set follow up on. So absolutely, I've been a big supporter of and big fan of Agent Locator, Addo, and I go back years and I love what they do. And this is why I'm here doing this because there's so much you can do with Agent Locator and tie that in. When I teach it, I don't just teach Agent Locator because people don't always use Agent Locator, but there's absolutely things you can leverage with Agent Locator to be more specific to farming. Addo and I have talked about that. So if you guys want more of that, make a note to him and just say, hey, because we can definitely start working on some more things together on how we can leverage it for farming. So it definitely works well. I just rambled on a lot. Do you guys have any other questions? I'm here. I'll stick around if you guys have questions about this, about the program, about anything else. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. How can you reach out to me? You can connect with me on Facebook. I'll drop my information in there. My email's there. I'll drop it in here. Sure. You can email me info@launchyourfarm.com. If you join the Facebook group, you can connect with me. Facebook's easiest to connect with me. I'm on there all the time. You can email me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. I'm usually pretty quick with that. And then what if there are a ton of existing Facebook community groups? That's something someone asked earlier. I don't know if it was you or not, but I would look at, are the groups active? Are the groups active with an active admin? Are the groups relevant to the community specifically? Can you do something different? If you want to participate in the groups, you can absolutely do that in a high level way. Just make sure that you're not breaking rules. Make sure you're partnering and connecting with the people who run the groups and make sure they're okay with the type of promotion you're going to do. In our area where we farmed, there was an lady that already had a group that was really successful with it. I think she had like 2,000 people in the group at the time. So we didn't create our own there because there was already an existing one. We worked with her. If she wasn't going to let us participate in there and be willing to share stuff, then we were just going to start our own. But I've worked with agents who've created their own from scratch, which works well. If there are existing groups, if you can get involved as well as running your own, you can do that. So look for ways you can put your own spin on it. So there's a lot of options for it. It just depends on how involved you want to get. So, someone else, what Raymond asked, what part of Canada are you living in the questions? I'm down in Niagara region, so I'm in Fort Erie. I've lived all over Southern Ontario, so I'm from Forth Lakes in the GTA, then Toronto, Burlington, or I'm back in Niagara now. So we service Fort Erie and Southern Niagara area. So good question. Is this to farm a neighborhood or city? I'm a neighborhood farmer, so I think it's more important to farm a neighborhood. If you live in a small town, then I would say you can farm the town, depending on the size of it. But I definitely, this is not meant to be doing a whole city because you're not going to be specialized enough. You're not going to be purposeful enough. This is where I mentioned earlier where people try to do too much, too quick, too big. So it depends on what your budget is, how much time and energy you want to spend it. But I wouldn't do these strategies in a whole neighborhood. Start with a smaller area. As you build momentum and start to build out, you can always expand and grow on it. But the mistake that most agents make is they try to do too big and then they blow through their budget, they blow through their time, they don't have the resources to keep it up, and then they don't get the results. When you're hyper focused, then you start to get better results. Um, so someone asks how many farms is ideal to start. It depends on your budget. So I always start with your budget is your first deciding factor because if you have a budget, you have to make sure that you can stick with that budget. Generally speaking, it depends on your strategies as well. But usually my rule of thumb is 50 cents to $1 per door per month is a good budget to stick with if you're going to do intense farming. So generally I say between 500 and 2,000 homes as a solo agent is a good number. Usually between 1,000 and 1,500 is kind of that sweet spot where you can do things effectively. Our farm was 3,600 homes, and there's two of us doing it. our current farm now, where Nikki does, there's 1,100 homes in her farm. We've kind of tapped into that a lot, and we've got a lot from that. So we're now expanding to another farm that has 750, I think. So it'll be just shy of 2,000 between the two areas. So as a solo agent, I wouldn't go more than 2,000 if you really want to be purposeful with it. But you can go super small and be really focused. Like I said, my friend Adam did 280 homes and it was super focused. But usually I'd say between 500 and 2,000. Someone asked, interested in month one, what would you put in the postcards? Oh, for the Facebook group, is that Anna? Are you talking about the Facebook group inviting people out? Yes. So basically, what we want to do is it's just a simple design. Say, we created a community Facebook group brought to you by your name. Over the few upcoming months, we're going to be highlighting or doing X, Y, and Z. Some of the things you've talked about that you're going to be doing because it depends on what your plan is. I'd like to invite you out with a link to the Facebook group. Super simple, super straightforward. Doesn't have to be over the top. Just a personal invite. Keep it simple and straightforward, and use that to drive people to the site. So just talk about what you're going to be doing, what the community group is about, and how people can find it. Hopefully that helps. Someone said they missed the beginning. Do you provide the content sending out postcards, and is it automated, or do you compile for which postcards, Rory? Are you talking about? Well, you're still there, Rory. For the for the local expert agent, absolutely, we provide all the content. We provide postcard content, flyer content, email content, all of that, all the templates. So no, in this training, we don't provide the content. I'm just giving you ideas on how to do that. So that's what you mean. So no. But in the expert age or the local expert academy, we absolutely provide all the content for you guys. We do it usually in Canva. It's the easiest to edit and most kind of universal editing and design. So absolutely do that. So if you like it, yeah, drop it in the clients group. Let people know about it. I'd love for you guys to know what you guys think about it. Share it. Get people to engage with this. Um, hopefully more and more people are farming. That's my goal. I really want agents to start farming and doing well with it. Anita said, great ideas, though there are community Facebook pages and also Nextdoor app, which are strong community focused where I live. And that's where you're gonna, and you can customize things. If there are things like Nextdoor and you can leverage that as your platform, by all means do that. If there are groups, so you mentioned pages, I'd say groups. Groups is very different than pages. A lot of people, when it comes to pages, they think pages are a good place, but it's more for pushing messages out there. So it's more speaking at people versus speaking with people. Facebook groups is more of an interconnected conversation. I use a party as an example. When you have a party, you can have different people talking, different conversations going on at once. You can kind of jump in and out of those conversations. A Facebook page is more like someone standing on a stage speaking at you. So if you're using a Facebook page, it's not going to be engaging. It's not as effective. You have to pay to get results on that. Facebook has shifted how they do that. So if you want people to see it, then you need to pay to get your results to be showing up. As far as your area, again, each area is going to be different. So look and do research on what's effective in your area, what's not working in your area, what opportunities might be in your area, and how you can stand out. So yeah, the Facebook group, I'll share it again here. So the Facebook, 1 second. So ask about the Facebook group. I'm assuming you meant the expert agent. So the link's there. So it's the expert agent. So if you search the expert agent, you can find it. Otherwise, the link should be there. All right. Do you guys have more questions? Again, I'll stick around as long as you need. Happy to answer any questions you guys have. Anything outside of this training, anything like that? All right. Doesn't sound like it. So yeah, if you guys want to connect with me on Facebook, sign up for that. Even if you just get on the waiting list and you don't like it, I'm going to be sending out the details. You can check out the website. I'll drop that. The deadline, there's no deadline right now for the $99 a month, but the bonuses that come with the early bird registration, that is before, if you sign it before November 1st, you're going to get all the bonuses with that. After that, then you won't get those bonuses. The $99 a month is going to be for the next few months until I get things rolling. And then my goal is to get that to $200 a month. So once you sign up for it, you're locked in at that price. So AJ, you can definitely schedule a call if you want to shoot me an email or message me on Facebook. We can set something up. Absolutely happy to chat more about that. Yeah, I'm again happy to connect with anyone if you have questions, if you want some clarity on the program or farming as a whole. We've got some other programs as well. So if you're interested, if that doesn't sound like it's the right fit for you, I've got a little more expensive programs and a little more affordable programs as well. So if you have anything you guys want, this is just the best bang for your buck is going to be the local expert academy. And I think it'll make a big impact in your business. So, all right. If you guys have questions, again, I'll stick around for another few minutes if you have them. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate this. I know they will be sending out a replay, and I'll be sending out a blast to anyone who registered with some information and some of the details there as well. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Glad you took the time of the day. Hopefully, you guys apply some of this to your business, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of the results you guys get. And I would say end it off with happy farming. So good luck to everybody, and let me know if you need anything.